Okay, so I'm pretty sure that most of you guys are aware of the artifact rebalances coming to specific artifacts in this game. And one of them is going to be the frenzy gear. And I've had a lot of comments, a lot of DMs, a lot of mentions about their strategy not being able to work anymore against Bommal the Dreadhorn. And I just want to break down and clear up what exactly is going to be changing, and is it going to affect this strategy and also multiple champions in this game, such as Nogdar. Because I feel like out of all of the rebalances, this one was probably the most useless, in my opinion. And I don't see it being like a better value or anything like that. So let's just quickly go into what the frenzy gear is now, currently, and how this strategy has been working. Now, I'm not going to say that this is the best gear set in the game currently, right? It was definitely very niche on specific champions, such as maybe Elva Autumnborn. I've used it on Wither the Crowned. I know Nogdar is a popular strategy. Skytouch Shaman, where she reduces turn meter, or reduces her HP and then she gains the turn meter as well, because it's plus 10% turn meter for every 5% HP lost. But the issue with what it's going to be changing to, right, it's going to go to 4-set bonus, once again, a plus 5% turn meter for each debuff received. So this is a huge change to this one, because before it was based on HP lost, now it's completely switched around to the amount of debuffs placed on your champions. Now, you guys can let me know if you feel like this is something that's going to be used more, maybe in like the Hydra boss getting debuffed or in the Doom Tower. It could potentially have more use. I'm not saying it might not, but it's really going to affect especially the Conellia Solo Bommal strategy that took me, I don't even know how many hours, like going from the stage 10 and then unlocking the stage 50, mastering that speed tune, and then going into the frenzy gear to get stage 90 done. It's really unfortunate that during a Bommal rotation in particular, that they're going to make this change that's going to affect so many players that's invested resources into a champion that I feel accountable for now. Like, although it's not my fault that they're changing it and stuff, it does feel bad that players have kind of invested in something that I've come up with, and now it's going to be completely nerfed. So just to clear it up, just to be blunt, is this going to affect the Conellia Solo strategy? Absolutely. And why is that going to be? Well, we're not getting debuffed. That's not how we're healing with Conellia. The whole form of that strategy comes around a Dread Bomb exploding, taking you down by 40% max HP. Therefore, the turn meter fill for every 5% HP lost is allowing you to cut in, heal yourself from being woken up from the sleep debuff, from the revitalizing rest, right? Let me just pull up Conellia. Where are you? So with this skill here, she's still got Frenzy on, but I've had to take off a few pieces for other showcases. So you'll be getting hit, 40% max HP, placing the sleep on in between the second Dread Bomb, then getting woken up from the second Dread Bomb, and then you get to full HP with the way that her A3 works. Therefore, you'll have enough HP to survive the onslaught of Bommal the Dreadhorn. Now, what's going to happen is, it's not going to work like that because it's based off debuff placement, so this strategy is going straight in the bin. And I feel like I'm wasting my time to an extent. Man, it's a bitter pill to swallow, I must say. But it's not the only champion. Like, I used to use Skytouch Shaman, right? Where is she? I'm a huge fan of Skytouched. And the way that her A2 works is, she has damages this champion by 10% of their max HP at the start of each turn, and heals all allies except this champion, equal to half of this current's lost HP. So because she's always damaging this champion, she's getting that turn meter fill, making her grant so many turns and getting a lot of heals off. So that was a really cool strategy players used to use. Also, Nogdar, recently buffed, now technically nerfed in a sense, because Frenzy Gear, players used to open up with this one, right? Attacks all enemies, and after attacking, this champion will sacrifice HP equal to 50% of their max HP, and then place a continuous heal. But what the synergy used to be around was, AoE, reduce the turn meter, you lead into this one, and then you kind of sacrifice HP again and equalize it with a target enemy. It now grants an extra turn with the buff, you lead into this A1, and grants another extra turn if you kill an enemy. So that kind of synergy with the Frenzy Gear that I've actually currently got on this champion is also going to be useless. Is it going to make Nogdar a trash champion? I don't think so with the buff. You might just have to cycle the skills where you open up with this one instead, grant the extra turn, and hope that you kill enemies with the Gore Feast instead of opening up with the A2. It's just like a skill synergy thing that's going to be messed up here. Also, other champions such as Elva Autumnborn and Wither the Crowned, very good as well, where they're getting damage received on them. They're cutting in, they're healing, they're cleansing. Really good synergy for Frenzy gear. But you guys let me know, is there any other champions out there that I may be overlooking of what Frenzy gear is useful for? I guess it's very niche in what you would use it for, but the main bummer is the Nogdar and the Conellia for me. And I'm not sure if they're changing it just for that. It just seems like a weird nerf or buff or whatever it is. Very, very odd. But okay, just to kind of break down some other stuff here of the other artifacts, as I've not mentioned it on my channel yet. The first one's going to be Retaliation. So if we just find Retaliation very briefly. Okay, there we go, we found it. So this basically had a 35% chance to counterattack when hit as a 4-piece set. Whereas now it's going to be changing to a 15% chance to counterattack, but it's only a 2-piece set. And I actually look at this in a way as a buff. Why is that going to be? Because it's going to be more useful on a wide range of champions instead of specific champions for maybe the clan boss or specific champions in the arena, right? So being able to put this in a 2-piece set for champions such as Leorius, Kandrathon, champions that steal buffs on the A1 or manipulate turn meter, I can see where Retaliation is going to come into many teams and have a great value. So overall, a plus side on this gear set in particular. Next up is going to be the Avenging gear. There we go, just below it. And this has a 45% chance to counterattack when hit with a critical hit. And what it's going to be changing to is 45% chance, so same value to counterattack when a debuff is placed on the wearer. So this is changing to debuff placement instead of hitting. Very similar to the Frenzy in a sense, like losing HP, whatever that may be. But I'm actually okay with this one as well. I feel like in the Doom Tower for champions that have all AoE skills on the A1, or in the arena for big hitting A1 skills, like I mentioned earlier with Leorius or Kandrathons. Early game players might actually have a lot of use from this, and it could be the difference between a victory or a fail, right? But I think primarily for stuff like Hydra and Doom Tower is where I would be considering this for some champions out there. But yeah, I never use Avenging personally, but I might actually try to use it now with this change. Curse is actually another good one. I feel like that had a pretty good value here. Because as you see here, this is all of the gear on my account. I never used it because I had a 75% chance to place a heal reduction debuff. And it's not even the 100% heal reduction. It's just the 50%. Very similar to like a, what's his name, Skull Crusher, right? So now what it's changing to is a 50% chance to place a Hex debuff, which is going to enable so many cool things in the Hydra. Think about Mishinarki's passive or just anyone that benefits from this. I feel like champions that have all AoE skills in a curse set might actually be very beneficial, right? And open up the doors for some teams. So yeah, I think pretty good change for Cursed, right? It's a high chance of placement, 50% chance. I think maybe 75%, staying with the theme of the Curse before, could have been better. But 50-50 shot, not too bad. And next up is going to be Curing. I used to only use this on a Rector Draft, but it's now going to have the same value of bonus heal, but it's now going to restore destroyed HP equal to the bonus healing. So if we think about the Hydra boss and restoration of max HP, granted it hasn't got that miracle heal effect, it can actually be very good for some teams, right? Because right now it's very niche of restoration skills, like I have to bank on Marishka to use it. So if we've now got a gear set that can implement this, I'm all for it, and I feel like some healers are going to definitely be using this. We got two more here. We got Affinity Breaker, very niche set. I use it on Stag Knight, as you see here, for the Iron Twins Fortress at the moment. It's going to be the exact same. Nothing's changing here. But what it's going to do now is, instead of a 20% chance to change a weak hit into a critical hit, it's now going to be a 50% chance. I'm not sure who actually is going to be using this. Like, let me know, guys. Is this a gear set you really value? But overall, I feel like it's a decent change. It's an increase of what it already was. So it's not really affecting what it was, just making it better, right? Last but not least is going to be the Fury. I still feel like this is going to be niche to a certain extent. If we can find it. Pretty sure I seen it earlier. Where is it? There it is. So damage increases as HP decreases. And now what it's going to do is damage increases depending on the champion's current HP. So HP from 100% to 76% will be 10% damage. 75 to 51% will be 25% bonus damage. and then 50% or lower will be 50% plus more damage. So I'm starting to think about Leorius. Like, I'm going to probably think about putting this on my second one and just seeing the value of it. I'm going to have to go and farm some more though, because this is all I've got on my account because I never had any value for it beforehand. But now if that's kind of scaling what I feel it's going to be, I think it might be very good for specific champions out there or any future ones that may come into the game. That based off, like, the less HP you have, the harder you hit in a sense. Leorius is definitely being the highlight though. I really want to see how that scales. But yeah, guys, that is going to be all for today's video. I just had to discuss the Frenzy situation and my kind of thoughts on it. I feel like it's a very bad change to the gear set. And if they're going to change it, make it better than what they've done it to. I feel like it's a very lazy change. In my opinion, it's like, change it for the sake of it. But if you guys are seeing a value where you think for the vast majority of champions, which I'm all for by the way, if it's going to drastically change so many players out there, fair enough. But the Conellia strategy, unfortunately, is going straight in the bin. And is there going to be another way to do it? I don't know, guys. And I don't know if I'm going to be investing the time into it, if I'm honest. Like, it took me a long time, upwards of maybe 20 to 30 hours for the initial strategies. Like, all conclusive of the regeneration, the immortal, finding the speed tunes. Because it's not the same as, like, the other strategies like Lady Annabelle. You put some regeneration on, you get hit, and you just basically heal off a passive. This is one of those ones that's very technical and speed tuned, and it looks simple on paper now that it's done. But coming up with it, like, at the start of it wasn't easy whatsoever. So, yeah, man. I'll have a think about it. We'll see. Like, I did try it multiple times before Frenzy did come into effect, and I thought about that strategy, but I don't feel like the sustainability is there to kind of survive the onslaught on stage 90, being the magic affinity, because there's no other solo champions that is the magic affinity at the moment. She was the first one because of the way that her A3 worked, cutting in between the dread bombs, getting the full heals, therefore surviving the hits. But yeah, guys, have an amazing rest of your day. I'll catch you guys in a video soon, and peace.